Are you ready to get real? Welcome to real estate, the world's loneliest career, where you're always out of balance, unfulfilled, the role models are fake, the numbers unattainable, and you're just supposed to be and do it all. Join self-made millionaire real estate agents, wives, moms, and business owners as we level up, learn from special guests, and elevate and disrupt an entire industry through real education our way.
Woo, man. I am so excited to be here, but I feel a little bit like out of practice because we've been off for a couple weeks because Angela had a birthday, a big birthday.
I'm officially old now.
If anyone would like to sing her happy birthday in the comments,
Please don't.
I will spare you from singing happy birthday to you live.
Thank you.
Man, it's been weird. So, I don't know. This year, seriously, I think has been the biggest roller coaster. It's kind of funny. I read a press release that Compass did this morning, and their CEO, Robert Refkin, said Compass as a company has never seen a market with such insane volatility. That was the wording he used. And I was like, yeah, I kind of agree, because we started out the year insane. Yeah, absolutely insane. And then we went into April and things calmed down a little bit. And then I think within 2-3 weeks, literally the whole market just hard stopped.
Complete shift.
Yes. And then now I think we feel a little bit over the last week, maybe week and a half, it's bubbled back up a little bit. I mean, it's definitely not back to bonkers, but do you feel for everyone that's watching, always as a reminder, I'm in Denver, which is a big metropolitan city or close to it. And Angela's in Colorado Springs, which is, 30-40 minutes away from me. And she's also another metro center, but mostly military based. So I definitely feel so my showing or my listings this weekend, actually, I want to count. I was on my hands and knees thanking the real estate gods.
I slept with my St. Joseph this weekend. So maybe that helped. I don't know.
Maybe I should have done that. I had 8 showings on my listing this weekend.
That's incredible.
Yes. And we'll talk about the feedback I got in a minute, because that's also really interesting. But 8 showings. And I was so excited, I could scream. So I do feel it's ticked up a little bit.
Definitely. I got a seller under contract, 2 buyers, and we have a bunch of showings on some of our listings now. I do see also the investors that are not really investors, but the ones that throw some crazy ass numbers to the wall to see what sticks. Those idiots are back. Because I've gotten 2 $400,000 under asking price offers from them, which no one's going to accept. But it's they got the memo way late, and then they were oh my gosh, because I'm using hard money, all of a sudden that means that we can negotiate that much, which we can't. But yeah, those guys are back, which is usually a good sign that it means that the real investors are going to come back to the market and our buyers are not as scared. Interest rates are kind of leveling out a little bit and less volatile, so I feel that's awesome. Yeah, I think that things are coming back to, I don't want to say normal, but more level.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's good for everybody.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I did have one, since we saw everybody last, one offer on one of my listings that was obscenely low, and embarrassingly low. And so we couldn't put that together. And then I did negotiate a deal that I'm very proud of, and you know why, but I got a great deal on this house. So I'm very proud of that for my buyers. So there's negotiation happening still. There's price reductions happening still, but at least there's buyers out there in the world, because I feel what happened during that maybe 30-day period was there were literally no buyers.
Right.
It wasn't even no one's thank God for a shitty offer right now, because for a while it was literally hard stop. No one was even crickets. So and then it's interesting. I have another listing on the market the one that had the 8 showings this weekend, I think we might be a little bit high on price, but not like maybe 1 to 2%, like way, not a lot off of price.
Yeah.
But I had 4 of the 8 submit feedback that we were their number one choice and they were thinking on it. And then now here it is Tuesday, and I've reached out to all the agents yesterday and no one's responded. So I do still feel like buyers are taking a little bit more time.
Yeah.
They're checking with their lender, making sure the payment works, making sure the rate is okay. So like, I feel like the process from like, you're still having to work harder between a showing that gives good feedback and getting it under contract, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I got one under contract this weekend, one of my listings, and it was listed at 560, and we got it under contract for 550. They offered less than that, but we countered and were able to put it together. So, so 10 grand under, not that bad. Seller's still making a shitload of money, very happy. Whereas I see like other agents completely drastically dropping the price of houses, and like,
yeah, we're gonna talk
I'm
about
shocked. Like that was a 3,000 square foot house, and I see, a 4,500 square foot house going for 525, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, it's not that kind of a market. Like, what is happening?
No,
it's not like a fire sale. It's just leveling out.
We're going to talk about this. I'm going to see if I can throw this graphic up into the chat for anybody that's watching. I've never tried to put a picture in there before, so let's see how that goes. But so basically, here we go. It works. So everyone can see this. So Nick Bailey, who is like very, 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 very high up at Remax, gave a talk over the weekend, and he said, and this is funny because Angela and I have been talking about this for months on this show, right? And we thought that the stat was like 85%. It's actually substantially. So we've been saying 85% for like 3, 4, 5, 6 months. 91%. NAR just came out with a new statistic that says 91%, I'll read the exact quote, of all NAR, National Association of Realtors members, have never sold a home in a market, and by sold they mean helped a buyer buy or helped a seller sell, in a market where interest rates are over 4% and days on market are over 45 days. Never.
Wow.
Right. And so we've been saying this for months and months and months, that the majority of real estate agents have never seen a market like this before. And so what we've been seeing, in our opinion, and now I think, the news and other agents and everybody is starting to echo that, what we've been seeing is these like panic price reductions, we've been calling them, right? So, and I don't even think it's the sellers, because, Angela and I are both very listing heavy. We do work with buyers, but we're listing agents. Like, we're stone cold listing agents. We have been for lots and lots of years. Our sellers are not sitting there going, oh my God, please reduce my price. Now the sellers are sitting there going, oh my God, we're sitting for longer on the market. Like, why aren't we getting showings? Why aren't we getting feedback? Why aren't we getting offers? Now, of course, that's happening, but the sellers, like, unless their motivation is such that they have to go immediately, like, unless they're being forced to relocate or a divorce, or like a child is being born, or, whatever, something really serious is happening, they're under contract on another house and they have to go. A seller is never going to usually tell you to reduce the price. So these price reductions are coming from the agents. They're being driven by the agents. And, we were seeing, like, I'm not joking, in that weird little period, like between May and June, where everything just hard stopped, $100,000 to $150,000, even $200,000 price reductions. And the houses still were not going under contract.
Yeah.
Blowing my mind.
Yeah. So, the other thing I think we're going to start seeing too right now is appraisal issues. The appraisers are always like 6 to 8 weeks behind. And I think we're going to start seeing that here now. Once these houses do go under contract, we're going to start to see that cycle where the appraisers are like, ooh, I don't know, I feel like the market's declining. Well, here's where we're telling you that it's not declining. That's when you have to bring out your stats again and say, okay, now we're coming back to a more level market. But I think you're going to start seeing that. We just had one that was actually good for our seller because they didn't want to be in that contract anymore. They were VA, and the house appraised for way below contract price, so they were able to get out of their contract. But custom builds are not worth as much as the builder might want them to be in this market, because when they started building it, the market was different than it is now. So you're going to start seeing that kind of stuff.
There's a lot of that happening. I work very closely with an amazing builder partner, and they've, like, they're having clients walk in every single day going, I contracted it at this price and now you're selling it at this price, or I contracted it at this price and now the interest rate is this high and I cannot afford it. Right. So like there's a lot of that happening, which is why a lot of builders all of a sudden have standing inventory. I will tell you, so every Thursday morning I train new real estate agents, and last week I took them out on a field trip, and we went to visit a couple builders because, so Angela and I talked about this a few months ago now, weeks ago, I don't even know, flipping the script, right? The fact that yes, the market has shifted, but that means tremendous amounts of opportunity. Well, they're newer, and again, they're part of that 91%. These guys have been licensed not a long time. They've never sold a house in a market where they don't have to tell their clients to overpay and give up an inspection, give up appraisal. So I took them out into the wild to visit a few builders, and I will tell you, every builder on their standing inventory said the commission is up. One builder had a free finished basement, which they said was about $30,000 to $60,000 in value. They were giving $30,000 in design center upgrades. They were giving 3% towards closing costs, so paying all the closing costs. And then she said, make me an offer. Wow. So I feel like maybe that's one big takeaway today for people. Like if you're listening and you're struggling with like fear or scarcity in this market, get out there. Like we always talk on the show about like, get out into it, do something. Action makes you, have results regardless of whatever the action is. It gets you moving. So get out there in the market, like go look at the builders, ask what their incentives are, go look at some houses that have had great price reductions, share that on your social media, and just go sit in like the feeling of opportunity. Because I feel like, oh my God, like I have wanted to jump off my roof head first, like between all the talk about the market the last couple of months and now the talk about all the IRS agents and all this stuff. It's just like, like it's so doom and gloom. And when a market does shift, it can feel really scary. But like, if you get out there and you see it, then you're like, physically, your brain gets it. You're like, oh my God. Like last year, that builder would have told me, I'm not paying you. You get zero incentives. There's a waiting list a year long, fuck off and die, basically. Right. And now there's all this money on the table. And it is the same on a lot of resale listings. So I'm like, get out there, go see it, and get confident in the fact that this is opportunity.
Right. This is great content for your social medias. Like we have the Parade of Homes. I don't know if Lindsay has hers starting soon also, but down in Colorado Springs, our Parade of Homes is incredible. And that's incredible content for your social media. Like it's everything about like what's going to be popular this coming year, all the, new colors. Everybody wants to see like all of the different design styles of the different builders. It's a great opportunity for you to give away some tickets. They're super cheap. I think they're like $10. But it's a great way for you to engage with your client base on social media. And people always like to get ideas during that time. So this is a really good opportunity for you to be able to post all of that stuff and not have to go and create it yourself. It's already done for you. And they're perfect houses. They're beautiful.
Yes. It's interesting. I'm going to put another thing up in the chat just because these are cool things for people to have as talking points or to share. I also read an article this morning that said across the nation, 60% of renters saw an increase in their rent, and 20% of them saw an increase in their rent that made it unaffordable, so they had to move. So like, again, when we talk about flipping the script, like that is so great because you've got a bunch of people who either can't afford where they are anymore or don't want to be where they are because the rent is ridiculous. And then B, now you've got huge opportunity for them. Like rates stabilized a little bit and they can go out there and get a deal, put them together. I know there's a lot of shit talking that happens about buyer's agents, which is nasty. And I hate that because I love working with buyers and they're amazing. But Angela brought this up like a month or two ago. When the market flips like this, you have to dust back off your buyer's agent skills. Doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah.
So go out there.
I mean, we got 2 different buyers under contract on great deals this last week, and it was pretty easy. I only had to show 4 houses and we were under contract and we got a crazy good deal in the house. So whether it's a buy side or a sell side, get out there and sell some houses.
I got one under contract at $170,000 under list, and then another one. I beat that agent up, and then another one under 60 under list. So like, these are good deals, and I do think that the pop in the last week I think buyers are starting to realize it. I think we went through and we talked about this. That was when we had that. If you haven't watched that Flip the Script conversation that we had a few weeks ago, go watch it on our page. But that was when we talked about, like, I really believe that we went through this period where we weren't educating our clients and the public enough that yes, rates went up, but pricing calmed down a little bit, right? Because I really think that all the buyers went, wait a minute, I'm going to have to pay a 6% interest rate. Plus I have to overpay $100,000. I literally cannot buy. And that's why everyone hard stopped. But that's not the case. So I do want to talk about social media messaging though. Like, I mean, we've talked about this so many times, but like, oh my God, like I cannot deal with the number of real estate agents that I see every day on their pages posting, we're in a recession. Like, yes, we are, technically we are, right? But like, they are posting and perpetuating this massive doom and gloom feel. And then they're wondering, like, at the same time, then I see them posting in the big Facebook groups and they're like, why can't I have any deals? I'm going to have to leave the business. And I'm like, one really does lead to the other. Like, your confidence level in the product that you're selling, real estate, has to be high, regardless of whether the market is up or down. And you need to figure out why you can be confident in the product that you're selling and stop talking about all this fear porn crap, because it's ridiculous. House prices are still going to go up. Interest rates will probably come down a little bit. Gas is down a little bit. People are calming down. I think
kids are back in school.
Yeah. I think everyone just missed the window.
Yeah. Like, if you want to work with buyers, you better get that message out there real quick, because I think you got about 3 weeks at most while they're going to get a really good ass deal. And after that, I think it's going to be back to asking price.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, it's market knowledge is power, and power creates opportunity, right? So like, go get knowledgeable about the market, get out there, breathe it, see it, feel it. Like, you really,
and I would say too,
yourself about that.
You have to talk to other industry professionals too. Like, I've been talking to a property manager because we have a house in property management. And I'm like, how much are we going to be able to rent this for right now? Because everyone and their brother on the seller side freaked out and threw their house into property management. So how much competition is out there? Like, should I sell my house? And so that's what we're looking at right now. Like, do we sell or do we keep it? Because it's kind of like oversaturated right now in our market anyway. Because if sellers didn't get their price immediately, they like freaked out and put it into property management. So that's something that we're toying with right now too. So once that happens and, you have an oversaturation in that market and rents go down, that might cause a different shift in our market that we weren't expecting. So we'll see. I don't know. But you have to talk to those people to know what's going on.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I think what you just brought up is a really excellent point. So, we always talk about real estate's an island. You're out there all on your own. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of scarcity. There's a lot of hunger. There's a lot of, really 90% of this job is probably mental, emotional. and how you can get your ass out of bed every day and do the things that you're supposed to be doing. And if you're lucky, you find a tribe of people that will help you with that. But I think that most agents probably have a very hard time finding that, unfortunately, which is one of the reasons we started this podcast. But what you brought up is so important. When you get into scarcity, like your natural inclination as a human being is to isolate yourself. And in this job, I think we can both agree that's like the worst thing that you can do.
Yeah.
Because if you stop getting out there to look at houses, even if you don't have any buyers to take out and look at houses, if you stop getting on the phone, even though nobody's buying, if you let that mindset shit creep up into your head, if you stop talking to other real estate agents, checking in, people in the industry, talking to your lenders, whatever it is, like it'll hit you hard really fast. So
yeah,
get out there in the world, talk to your vendors, ask them what they're seeing, talk to your lenders, talk to new home salespeople, like just get out of your house or your office and get out in the world and, I don't know, loosen the emotional load a little bit, because it's been a lot.
It has. Like last week, like for Thursday and Friday, I was, I don't know, feeling sorry for myself. And so I stayed home and took some mental health days and just slept. Because I gotten back from vacation, and Vegas is a little
Need a vacation.
overpowering sometimes. You need a couple days off. But yeah, I could have very easily stayed in bed all weekend and still today and just felt sorry for myself about, where my business is at or how happy I am with the amount of traction I'm getting on my listings. But I chose to do something about it and get off my ass. You can't get stuck at your house. You have to get out and, go to the office if you need to. Like, get out and talk to other agents, go to lunch with some other agents, grab coffee, just talk to somebody and get out. Otherwise, you're just going to like get sucked in, and it's going to be really bad habits that you're forming right now. So I think you're going to see that a lot.
Go roll through some open houses as you're driving from the store. Like, no, you're right. 100%, Angela. Like, this is where NAR says that they believe in the next year that they could lose 30 to 50% of agents that are realtors, right? Like that they could completely leave the business, which, listen, everyone's always joking. This one kind of pisses me off a little bit. Like, I get what people are always like, oh, it's a culling of the herd, and like, yes, there are some really shitty agents out there that I wouldn't, that I don't think should be agents. But like, for the most part, every one of those millions of agents that NAR has as members are all people who have hopes and dreams of this being everything they've ever wanted in life. And they're not going to get through it because, like you just said, they're developing really bad habits during this little bit of a shift. And that's bad. Like, that's really, really sad to me. So check on your agent friends too. Like, reach out to them, see how they're doing. Maybe everyone goes to see an open house. Everyone goes to the Parade of Homes,
Yeah. Tons of people go to the Parade of Homes. It's a great place to pick up clients. And it's a good opportunity for you to reach out to some custom builders that in the market and see if they have a parade home, or if you could work the parade. You get a ton of leads that way. At least talk to some people. A lot of people are tire kickers, but you don't know. They're great opportunities for you to add them to your social media and keep tabs on them, and add them to your sphere. Nothing wrong with that.
Absolutely love that idea. That's a fantastic idea. I just think this is, someone said this on our show towards the beginning of the year, and it has never left my brain since. Someone said, and I can't remember who, the shift that we will see in this market is not the shift in pricing or the shift in inventory or any of that over the long term. It will be the shift in the number of real estate agents that retain licenses and keep working. And that makes me really sad. Like, that's like millions of people that have to go tell their husband that they didn't make it, or tell their kids that they didn't make it in this business. Like, don't let those, like Angela said, bad habits kill your career right now.
Yeah, it's really easy to sit around right now and feel sorry for yourself.
Yes.
It's a lot harder to get off your ass and go and create business, but that's what you have to do.
And also, I would like to mention that we're not just talking to new agents. I had a conversation yesterday with a friend of mine who's been in the business 25 years. She does like 300 units a year, and she's feeling this way, right? Like, it's, I had another conversation this week with another friend, and his team does a couple hundred units a year, and he's feeling this way. So it's not just new agents. I think that we're in an especially tough spot because like we just came off this extended period of like basically burnout. It's really hard. It was really emotional. It doesn't matter which side of the line you were repping, buyer or seller. That just made me laugh. We need like gang signs. Buy side, sell side. Anyhow, but it doesn't matter what side you're repping.
Buy side.
Right? It was really, I can't make an S with my fingers. We'll have to work on that later. It was rough. Like, and we were all exhausted. And so I think most of us were like, we just came off a freaking global pandemic and literally the most unsettling thing the world has been through in generations, if not ever. And so we were exhausted, we're burned out. Our mindset is already not good. Depression's rolling around like absolute crazy. Emotions are high from our clients. Emotions are high in our families and our relationships. I think we all kind of thought 2022 was going to be like a year where we could just rebalance and kind of coast emotionally a little bit. And it has not been that way at all.
Yeah.
So, it's kicking people in the ass.
Yeah. And I will say too, if you are a newer agent, all of us older agents are probably already on them. But the newer agents, it's important for your mental health to go to the doctor and make sure you're okay. It is totally normal for an agent to be on antidepressants. So
either that or obscene, if you've ever been to a real estate conference, obscene amounts of alcohol and maybe even sometimes drugs. So like Angela, I was like, wait, we're 2 minutes late to start our live because I got to pop my daily vitamin. And she was like, oh, I got to take my daily allergy medicine. And I was like, oh, we can't forget our daily antidepressants, right? Like, yes, take care of yourself.
Right.
Because whatever happens
right now.
Yeah, because whatever happens next, and I don't know what that is. For the first time in 21 years, I have been unable to say what I think happens next. Either we stay level-ish like this, or we could shoot back up if rates come back down and inventory stays this low, or if for some crazy reason, which I really do not think will happen, really, 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 the whole bottom falls out of the market. Whatever comes next, you're going to need to be in fighting shape for it.
Right.
Like, champions rest and take care of themselves. And they also keep working on their skills, So I think this lull a little bit right now, it should be where everyone's taking as much training as they can get, cracking open those old books that you have, studying things, working on your systems and processes, learning new things. Like, this is also opportunity for your career in the future if you take care of yourself, right?
Yeah. Yep. Take it as an opportunity to, readjust your business.
For sure.
Don't get down on yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And get help or phone a friend, call us, message us if you need help. I do like that I've seen some people that are leaders in this industry bring braver about talking about the struggles that people are facing right now, because I feel like real estate is very much one of those like influencer businesses where everybody is just like standing in front of their Ferrari and posting their level 27 hot wife or husband in their freaking $10,000 outfit and $1 million watch, and like we all look at that and we think that we should have that or be that or do that. And really, there's a lot of really hard times in this business.
Yeah.
And we're in one of them right now. So.
Yep. Yeah. Just hang with it. I feel like it's shaking loose right now. Like, I feel like if you want to get your buyers a really good deal, right now is the time to do so. But on the seller side, I would give them a little bit more hope right now, because I feel like, getting the house in the market now, it might take 30, 45 days to sell it, but I think that you're going to get a really good turnout of people here coming soon. I thought it was going to take till November, but I think it's starting to shake loose now. So not too bad. About a month and a half of reception.
I'm going to try to make an actual chart of this today, like a graphic, because we talk about this all the time, but I'll try to make one and post it later today. But like, we are still in an opportunity market for sellers. And that's why I'm saying, like, stop yelling recession from the top of the damn mountain. Like, talk to buyers about opportunity, but don't yell it so hard that, or in such a way that sellers aren't going to work with you or sell either because you scared them. But you know, like whatever the hell that market was that we were in the last 2 years, there's not even a name for that. We don't even know what that is. Average days on market in that it was literally 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah.
Then you go to a seller's market, which I believe is what we're still sitting in now. But when they tell you statistically what a seller's market is, it's when properties sit 30 to 45 days and sellers have to negotiate 5 to 10% off their list price. Right. I think that's where we're at right now. I'm going to go all the way down. I think the problem is everyone thinks we're all the way down here. And that's why they're making all those freaking panic price reductions, because they don't understand in a seller's market, technically speaking, you're still sitting 30 to 45 days.
Right.
Stop reducing pricing after 48 hours. Stop. You are annihilating your own market.
Ability to, you're killing your own opportunity to negotiate for your seller. Like, getting under contract is not your job. Getting your client top dollar for their house on the sell side, that is your job. So just you can say your house is under contract.
If 57, how does that happen? How do you get top dollar for your seller if magically 57 offers just don't roll in the first weekend? Does that mean that you just drop the price?
No,
it means you get to work, right? So, so whatever we were in 24 to 48 hours on market, seller's market, 30 to 45 days on market, sellers have to negotiate 5 to 10% off their value, depending on where they priced, right? Balanced market, properties sit for 45 to 60 days, and sellers are negotiating 10 to 20% off sales prices sometimes, right? Then you go to buyer's market, which is where properties sit 90 to 180 days, and sellers are negotiating sometimes up to 20 to 30% off their list price. And then you go to like 2008, which is insane, which 2008 properties could sit for 6 months to a year. No bullshit. We had many of them. And you could not pay people enough to take the houses off your hands, but it only took us 4 years to recover from that. Like, it's even the worst market that we've lived through and probably will ever live through in our generation didn't last that long. So it's driving me crazy watching these people that think we're like here and we're still up here, and you're dropping your price $150,000 to $200,000 like we're down here. I don't even understand how I don't even understand how they're still employed by their sellers.
Because they're the only ones giving their seller that information. Their seller is not going to external sources to find that information. If they were, they probably wouldn't have listed with that agent, right? So they might know that person personally, and they're trusting them. And I think we're going to start seeing a lot more, DORA complaints and that kind of thing from people after sellers sell their house and lose, $250,000 to $300,000 from, because somebody didn't know any better. That's your fault. You should know. That's what we're paid to do, is know. I think right now is a really impressionable time and important time for most realtors right now, because you're proving your worth to your sellers and your buyers. And there's a major difference in the market right now. Most listing agents would have taken, a low offer on a property like this weekend, like one of mine. And I was like, no, we're going to counter that. We can counter. There's no problem with countering. It's not scary. It's not personal. We're countering because we feel like our home is worth more. And if they're willing to pay it, great. If they're not, then you guys can decide if you want to accept something lower. But I don't think we have to. I think we're priced appropriately. So stand your ground. Like, there's no reason for you just to roll over and take it. If you roll over and take it on day one, how is it going to be the entire contract? It's going to be hard. It's going to be an uphill battle for you as an agent, because that buyer's agent is going to rake you over the coals at the inspection. Trust me, it's going to happen. Lindsay's totally going to do that.
I'm not even a buyer's agent, really, and I'm coming for you. But yeah, no, you just said so much I want to unpack a little bit, because that was all really important. First of all, we've talked about this before too. In the absence of value, that's when money comes into play, right? And so over the last, yes, I do believe absolutely agents still work hard and earn their commissions, but I can see why all these technology companies and all these outside forces have come for real estate agents' commissions over the last several years because there hasn't been as much skill or work required from real estate agents to sell or help buy houses, right? On the listing side, you put it in the MLS, you get 57 offers, you're good. On the buy side, you tell them just to pay X amount of dollars over asking and you win, right? Like this is the most skill-based market that you'll ever see, right? This is why you have to keep brushing up your skills. But the benefit of that is that your value becomes higher, right?
Right.
Your commission dollars stop becoming
a negotiable.
Yes, because you, if you are doing your job correctly, will prove that you're worth what you're earning, right?
Yeah.
And then the other thing that you said that we always bring up on this show is, and you said this a couple weeks ago, this is a best interest for your clients market, right? Like, you know, you brought up a couple weeks ago, sometimes it's in your seller's best interest to pull the house and either stay in it or rent it out until we see what happens in the spring. Sometimes it is in your seller's best interest for you to counter back, even if you don't think that you can get the deal done. This weekend, I had one where I felt truly in my gut and from my experience that it was in my best interest to tell my sellers not to accept an offer.
Yeah.
Even though we have been on the market for a while and it feels like listen, like we've been on the market a while and it feels like we need it. And it feels like we should have taken it just because we need an offer. And it feels like we maybe will never get another one. And that feels really scary for me and really scary for my sellers. But the offer was ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And I couldn't in good conscience walk away knowing that that was in the best interest of my sellers.
Right.
Sometimes it is in their best interest to not take a deal or to negotiate back really hard, because otherwise you get people like me coming in and getting $170,000 off asking price. And those sellers are going to be pissed if they could have held the line just a little bit longer and walked away with more equity.
Like in the grand scheme of things, waiting 1 month, what is that going to cost your seller? I mean, high end, like really high end, like $1 million homes, $5,000.
Well, and that's the thing. So that example I keep bringing up of the $150,000 to $200,000 price reductions. So those were in a market where I have had a listing and it's above 1 million, which in Colorado, that's definitely our luxury market. Around like 1.2 is where everything is. And I'm not joking you. One agent put 3 properties, I think, on the market in the same neighborhood as me. And she put them all out. And then within like 72 hours, like 3 to 5 days, she had slashed pricing on all of them at least $100,000. And then the next week it was like another 50 and then another 50. But she wasn't even paying attention to the market because she slashed pricing $150,000 to $200,000 in that period where you could have priced the house at $1.99.
Still weren't going to get a showing.
No one would have bought it. It wasn't pricing right at that moment in time. So she annihilated the rest of the neighborhood. Annihilated. Because now what I'm racing up against on my listing is all those closing. Because God knows what she took after she reduced them $150,000 to $200,000 for actual, sold price. So now I'm racing against, like, we have to get under contract before those turn into sold comps because she just devalued that entire neighborhood by hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Right. And so now your appraisers are going to come in and be like, and you want me to appraise that for what? Not going to happen.
Huge problem. We talked about this in the reverse for months and months and months and months on this show last year. We talked about Zillow doing the backwards of this, right? Which was where they were increasing pricing on every property that they were putting out on the market to bring values up, pricing people out of being able to buy. Now we're accidentally doing the opposite thing. We're slashing pricing, panic price reducing so fast that we're devaluing our own properties. If you aren't sitting on the market for 30 to 45 days, do not do a price reduction.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
I mean, I have sellers all like right now at a over $1 million house asking me if we should reduce the price. And I'm like, I don't see the data that tells me if we reduce the price that all of a sudden the buyers are going to come. I think we need to hold fast on it and see what happens once the buyers start coming back out. I'd rather you not miss out on $100,000 to $200,000 because you were in a hurry when you're not in a hurry.
Best interest of your client's market, right? Like this is also where you earn the respect and the honor of being able to have a lot of spirit and repeat referral business by doing the right thing by people, right?
Right.
And sometimes, yes, you do have to make a price reduction. And sometimes,
You do.
yeah, you are going to have to, take a lower offer in this market right now. But
and if you're making that phone call to call your seller and get a price reduction and it doesn't hurt you, we have a problem.
Yeah.
Like, it shouldn't be painful to make that phone call, because to me, I take it personally. I shouldn't, but I do. Because that's not my money.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm losing it and I don't know how to get it back. So it's important for me as an agent to take every single penny that I am reducing my seller in their net and look at that and look at it like it was my investment and what would I want done. The last thing I want is to reduce the price of a house by $100,000, and that's money that my clients will no longer have. That's life-changing. That's lottery money. Like, if it's between selling the house quickly and selling it for a lot more money, just wait for a little while. You just have to have the right data. Just do a little bit more work instead of reducing the price by $100,000. Like,
but what if it becomes, stigmatized? Everyone's listen, if you're sitting in, if you're the only house not selling, you have a problem. You're either not presenting it correctly, the house doesn't look good inside, it smells weird, whatever the issue is, or, you're overpriced, right? So but still, if you're on the market 30 to 45 days and all your competition has gone under contract, different story. But if you're on the market 30 to 45 days and everyone is sitting that same amount of time, that's now called average fucking days on market.
Right.
Calm down.
And it has nothing to do, honestly, usually anyway, with price. Mm-mm. It just has to do with the amount of buyers that are ready and willing and able to buy in that area. So reducing the price by 50, 60 grand is not going to all of a sudden magically get you a buyer.
And
it's just going to take all that money out of your seller's wallet.
My favorite thing right now, and I hope everyone hears this, my favorite thing, and listen, if you were one of those agents that were an asshole to the real estate community during the last 2 years, good luck to you, sir, because you're going to be in trouble. But my favorite thing in this market right now is to get really into depth with everyone that's showing my properties, right? So after, and you're not going to receive it from everybody because it's difficult to get a hold of people. Some people really are just feedback jerks, but why didn't you like it? Is there anything that we could do to fix it? Right? Would your buyers be interested is it because the price is high, or is it because they're worried about their monthly payment? Would your clients be interested if we, helped with an interest rate buy down or helped with money towards closing costs? Over the weekend, this agent left feedback that said they absolutely love my house. It was a 12 out of 10. It was their favorite house that they saw out of 20 other homes, but they felt like it was too big and it was overwhelming for them. So we went to them and said, okay, well, what if we paid a year's worth of electrical bills? That's literally $3,000.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to go under contract today, right? So figure out what it is that's the actual objection to why you're not going under contract, and get creative. What is $3,000? I probably would have had to reduce the price 25 to 50 grand to get more eyeballs in the door, right? I think you're
going to start seeing too a lot more people that want a renovated house for whatever they're spending. And a lot of these houses, these sellers either don't have the money or don't feel like they have to spend it to put the house in the market. And houses are going on the market and they're looking like shit and they're not going to sell. Bottom line. So you might have people that are like, hey, I'll buy it, but I want a new kitchen.
Well, and the part of the reason, 1,000,000% correct for that, is what have we had beaten into our brains the last 2 years? Supply chain. Oh, there are no appliances. There might not be granite. Oh, I'm not going to be able to get cabinets.
Right.
And labor shortages. Oh, I won't be able to find someone, or it's going to look like crap, or lumber prices. It's going to be too expensive, right? There are some things out there. Curbio, Curbio, is an amazing product that will allow sellers to basically have updating done and then pay for it at closing. So Angela and I both help clients with that type of stuff, but not everyone can do that at the beginning of their career. So Curbio is a really cool product that will help them, spit, shine, stage, do whatever they need to do to get it. I mean, dude, I have friends right now who run teams who do multiple millions of dollars worth of GCI, and they're out there on the weekends again right now with their own furniture out of their own house, staging their listings. Like, we're back to work,
My staging company is going gangbusters, man. Like, we're even staging all the way up by you. Like, they're up in Centennial today. It's wild. Like, the amount of people that need that service, it's across all price points. And I think in the absence of a price reduction, they're now saying, we got to stage this house. And it can't just be throwing some pillows on a corner. Like, it needs to be like a full on, like, this needs to look like a model home every time.
I still think we need to do, maybe we could do that next week if you were willing. I think everybody would really like that. I think maybe we should go to a store and, like, what can you buy in a staging kit for $500? And then I think we should go to a listing, or you can come in. Well, my house has had a lot of your staging, so I don't know that my house will work.
Come to this one.
Well, but I think we should go into a listing and do, like, I don't know, like, what are the top 5 or 10 things that are wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are the top 5 to 10 things that you would tell them to fix or change or whatever all the time? Like, I think maybe that's a good thing to do next week, because
I'm down for that.
I'm
actually writing a class right now to teach people how to stage houses. So, but yeah, I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, because I think staging to a lot of people is extremely overwhelming.
Yeah.
It's very much like people are freaked out about the amount of money that it costs, the amount of time that it costs. Like, how do I move couches by myself? Like, a lot of people don't feel like they have style or know what the style is. A lot of people would stage every single house in the exact same way. Like, I just think that one is overwhelming to people, but presenting your properties right now in a good way is a must. It's an absolute must. They will not sell if you look like shit.
Yeah.
They just won't.
Nope, I agree.
I'm gonna write that down. Let's do a staging class. We can go find a listing that's in rough shape and point out what we would do to improve upon it.
Yeah.
I think that would be helpful.
Definitely.
Yeah, I don't know. I do feel like it's shaking loose a little bit. I think you're right. I think there's still a lot of opportunity out there for buyers, agents, and sellers. I think it's going to pick back up.
I think it is too. I think it's going to happen pretty quickly. Like I said, I think within the next month, it's going to go back to being a little bit crazier than it is now, obviously, but it's going to go back to being a little bit more what we consider normal.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think in our lives we will ever see again what we saw in the last 2 years, unless for some reason we see the next spring and interest rates are super low.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll ever see it again. But I mean, we're still, like I said, we're not down here. So stop acting like it.
Right.
And if you're feeling down here in your brain, freaked out, then get out into the world and go explore, and you will find that there's, like, blood in the water, dude. There's a shitload of opportunity out there. It's insanity.
Yeah. Yeah. Change your narrative on social media, and obviously what comes to you is going to change completely. So it's on you. What you post is important.
Yep. All right. Let's stay tuned next week, and we'll talk about how to, Angela will show us, the queen, how to stage and present a property on a low budget or no budget, and then maybe point out, like, the top couple things that she focuses on when she goes into a house, and we'll see if we can't get our listings looking better.
Sounds good. We'll see you next week.
So fun to be back. Love you guys.
Bye.
Angela and Lindsay would love to receive your real estate referrals in Colorado. Connect with the Homegirls on social media at The Real Homegirls Podcast.